play the theme song. She can't hear it, but we can. It's time for Pairing with Bunny. With special guest Auntie. Yay! Yay! Wait, iTunes is doing something else. I hate iTunes. Okay, there we go. Okay, now
right. Is this supposed to say that you're live somehow?
Yeah, it's no. Status check.
We want to make sure it has sound this time.
Right, because last time we had a really good session. Oh, I want to tell you about it. Hey, Bunny, can you bring up that problem that we worked on last time?
I still don't see you live.
Yeah, let me find
Wait,
it.
whose account is this on?
It's on Pairing with Bunny. It's a Pairing with Bunny channel. Sorry, not my personal live stream.
Channels?
Yeah. Live now.
Let's see. This on here. And then we also worked on making this grade calculator from an earlier project better.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, show the arrays thingy that. So
Audio's working.
Yeah.
Good. Oh yeah, this to-do list. Okay, so last time we were looking at this to-do list. No, honey, show the TypeScript. And thanks. And of course we were in JavaScript, but then our objective was to, in the end, we wanted to write a higher order function, but here we're just using them. But it was much easier to like tell what an element was when we brought in TypeScript.
Okay.
So that we could label the kind of, I should use the pointer that shows up on the screen. So we could use the kind of thing that we could point, so that we could point out the kind of thing. Now Rachel can see it. That
oh, nice.
That these were. And so then we could label that's what's going in here, which, hey Rach, hover over the word element. Yeah, because then that says what element is. It's an item, and it knows that completed is a field on there. And if she tried to say something other than completed, like done, try element.done instead of element.completed. Then it tells you right there. You don't have to wait until runtime to see that it's undefined. So Rach found that useful. So we've got TypeScript in totally not strict mode, so that we can just label things as we choose to. And then we went back to this old to-do program that we did last, or was it the grades? Oh yeah, it was the grades. We went back to this grade program because we wanted to write a higher order function on principle to get a better grasp on them. And so let's see, where's our higher order function? Is it at the bottom? Yeah, this final report one. Yeah. So we started by, instead of calculating just one grade, we made an array of grades. And then we did a for each, which is, so we have an array of grades, and now we've named them as a marked paper. And then we did a for each over those, and console.logged each of them. But then we talked about how we might want to put that like in a report or something instead of just console.log. And Rachel made the correct suggestion that we could output the string. But on principle, I wanted to write a higher order function.
Okay.
So instead, we said, well, what if there were millions of grades and wouldn't fit in a string? Oh, by the way, Bunny, I found out yesterday that in Node, if you try to put together a string that's so long it can't hold it in memory, it gives you range error. What? Did you miss that?
I think we might have a delay.
Oh, yeah. I blame your mountain internet.
Hey, it takes a lot of squirrels a long time to carry those packets up the hill.
Okay.
They're doing the best they can.
They are. So So right, we wanted to write a higher order function. Oh yeah, Bunny, I found out that if you make a string that's so long it doesn't fit an error, you get range error, invalid string length, when it means out of memory. This is fine.
Computers have terrible errors.
Yeah. So instead of constructing a string, which could potentially, hypothetically, in my really strong imagination, get too long, we passed in an output function.
Okay.
And the output goes from string to void.
Okay.
And one funny thing about TypeScript, when you declare a function type, you have to give the parameters names. This is actually a pet peeve, because I really just want to write string to void, because that's the type of the function. But if you do that, it says, oh, you have a variable, its name is string, and its type is any. Or a parameter, rather.
Oh, because of this,
it reads string as the name, as the name of the parameter. So that's really annoying. So we have a banana. It's fine. That doesn't go anywhere because it's only in the type declaration.
And you can't use the thing that I would usually use because underscore is generally taken.
Oh, yeah, it's true for Lodash. Yeah. So that's kind of meaningless. But anyway, we then passed in console.log, and we did the format grade string and outputted stuff. And then we put it in a box. So we made a function. This is a bad name, Bunny, FYI, because, whoops.
What, print in a box?
Print in a box is a great name. Box as a parameter name is not so good. That's the only one. Because we don't pass in a box. We pass in a message that goes in the box. But yeah, so she made
message in a box.
Yeah, so we could have called this message because it goes in a box, which got us into, I mean, I got excited about the box thing, and which got us into require, which actually we hadn't done dependencies before. So not only did we do TSC in it, we did NPM in it, and this was all new, and it was a lot. But anyway, it was a lot. But we put the darn thing in the box, and it was cool. Hey, Bunny, can you run it? I want to show Abdi what it looks like when it puts it in a box. I love this module, boxin. It's my favorite NPM module.
Okay.
It doesn't have types, though. In one project, I wrote some types for it, just enough for what I needed.
Oh, very nice.
See, it puts them in a box.
I was wondering what the box theme was here. Now I get it.
Yeah,
okay.
I love that.
I mean, it's no Cowsay, but it's nice.
True. Do you have Cowsay, Bunny?
And then, no, I don't know what that is. I like how to sort things.
Oh, cool.
Arrays.
Okay.
That I did on my own.
Good. Nice. Yeah, that's useful.
So I learned that. And then I have a really, really ugly HTML file.
Sorry.
Because I haven't really done anything with it. I just set it up to make sure that it worked. And that was basically it. Where is it? I had it open before. Then folder.
You've been going through some HTML and CSS course material, right?
Yeah, so what do you have?
Yeah. So this, like I said, I haven't really done anything with it other than just hook it up to a CSS file and make sure that it works. And that's like really all I've done with it. And it looks like this. It's about thylacines because that's something I'm interested in. Because my thought is for practice. So I love stuff about cryptids.
Okay.
And when I searched cryptid website, this was the first result. So my first goal is to make a website that is as ugly as this one.
Oh, good. This is a great goal. I love this.
Pretty ugly. So my first goal is to learn how to make a website. I mean, I don't need all this stuff on mine, obviously, but make a website that is as ugly as this one. And then after that, my goal can be to make a website that is less ugly than this one. Apologies to the cryptid zoo. But, woof. So, little steps.
It's kind of like that yak site.
Oh yeah, yakbreeder.com.
Yakbreeder.com.
That's my favorite website.
So yeah, Jess, and when you're in Australia, you can keep an eye out, see if you can see any living thylacines. They only went extinct in like I think the 70s.
Oh wow.
Weren't they in Tasmania?
So they could.
Or were they?
Yeah, they're also called. Tasmanian tigers.
Okay, because Tasmania is a different island.
But they were also in Australia.
Oh, okay then. All right, then I can keep an eye out for them.
The 30s. Okay, so they went extinct in the 30s, which does put them in a cryptid status today because there's no actual proof that any of them are still around. But of course, there are people who are like, no, there's still like colonies of thylacine.
Probably still eating
and
babies.
I want to believe they're a marsupial.
Wait, what? Really?
Isn't that?
Yeah, it says that.
Wow.
And they could look at that. That's
Marsupial.
real. They could do that thing almost like a snake, where they could open.
Oh,
their
wow.
jaw,
Like unhinge their jaw.
super wide. Like that is real.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm making and because they went extinct in the 30s, we actually.
Oh, there's video of
have
them?
Film footage.
Yeah, a little.
Yeah. See? Oh, did you see it?
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Not a lot of video footage, but that's
pretty
technically
stunning.
video footage.
So yeah, so I just like to believe in my heart that they're still around because I think they're really cool. So that's what I made my website. That's what I'm making my website about.
Great.
And sometimes people will put on YouTube like, here's a video I found of a thylacine, and it's clearly just like a dog with a limp. But like I said, in my heart, I want to believe. So when you're in like the Australian area or Australia area, you can keep an eye out.
On the magic of the internet is we can create a world that is whatever we want. Yours has thylacines in it.
Exactly. Yeah. So, like I said, I haven't really messed around with it at all, other than to just make sure that it worked, that the CSS sheet connected correctly with the HTML sheet, which it does.
It does?
Yeah, because
there it is.
see,
Link
it's
rel equals style sheet.
Yeah, it's purple.
Okay.
Yeah. See, so I told it in there to make H1 purple.
Okay.
And it did.
And you have
there's
a
no color tag in here.
body. Okay. Yeah.
I have a head, a title, a body, and an image, and a couple headers.
Okay. So what do you want to do today?
I don't know. How do I put JavaScript in it? Like, where do you put that? Do you put that inside, like, would that go inside an image tag? Is it like CSS where you make a separate file that has the JavaScript in it, and then you link it like that?
Yeah.
Well, there are a few ways to do it.
Short answer, yes.
Yeah. Like the most basic way to do it is there's actually a tag called script. And you can actually just put some JavaScript inside a script tag. So you could, like in your head, actually it can go anywhere in the document, if I recall correctly. But for instance, in the head tag, you could put, let's see, what would we put in there? We needed to do something that's obvious.
Well, we need the thylacine to growl. Oh, no, I know. After a certain period of time, the thylacine disappears.
We could do,
because it went extinct.
Can we like make it, I want to do it, it's to do something instantaneous so that we can test it quickly.
Ooh, but then it's hard to see whether it did it.
So here's my thought. What if we could click on the thylacine and it would pop up a growl?
Oh, you want an on-click event?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So like the simplest, to my mind.
We could also make a timeout and the thylacine could disappear after 30 seconds.
Okay.
Okay, funny. What do you want to do?
Wow, it's a lot of options.
Do you want to click on the thylacine?
I don't know if I necessarily want it to like disappear unless it, can we make it like after 5 seconds it disappears and then it comes back?
Yeah. Or we could make it if you click on it.
Too much discussion.
Okay.
Type script. Type a script tag. Yes. Script, and I think it's,
Do you have to say like?
I don't think you have to say the language because it's sort of assumed to be JavaScript. I think the proper way to do it is to say something like lang equals, here, hang on a second. Let me look it up. Script tag.
It'll be an attribute to the script tag, the lang feature.
Oh, okay, that makes sense, yeah. So probably something like
Oh
this.
yeah, it looks like it liked that, and then it'll be like JavaScript, text/JavaScript, is that right?
That's the hang on. Oh, MDN. Why are you so lame?
No, MDN is good.
Source text type. Type is
The type of script omitted or JavaScript MIME type. Where was
oh
lang?
my god.
It liked lang.
Type equals text/JavaScript, I think. Language.
Oh, it's got a thumbs down next to it. Language is
This
deprecated.
attribute's possible values were never standardized.
Okay.
Oh, finally, examples. Okay.
Type equals
Type
text.
equals, and then in quotes put text/JavaScript.
Does the capitalization of JavaScript matter?
Nope.
Doubt it.
Nope. So we're gonna start. Let's start with an inline, with some inline stuff, and then we'll talk about how to source in a file from externally after that. But let's start with inline.
Okay.
We need to. So go ahead and like put your cursor in between the brackets there, inside the tag, and make some space there.
Yeah.
Oh, here?
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Like, I don't know, press enter a few times.
some
We need some
returns.
space. There we go. Okay, now we got a place to put some JavaScript. And in there, we can just sort of put any old JavaScript. I'm making your head work.
console.log. Console.log. That's the first thing that you do in JavaScript.
I like alert.
Oh, alert. Okay, good idea.
So we want I think we should do a function that growls with an alert box.
Okay.
That's like the simplest thing I can think of.
That sounds good to me.
Okay.
So you know how to make a JavaScript function.
Yes.
What's it start with? Oh, no, we don't.
She does arrow functions.
That's
She likes to.
That's cool.
It's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
It's fine.
I can do either. I mean, I can do either.
Let's do classic function.
I guess we'll do. Okay.
Yeah, most of her class for some reason has her put it in consts.
And then the name, we'll call it growl.
Yeah, they have it do like.
I'm sorry. I'm like taking you through JavaScript Classic at this point. You can imagine it in an old style arcade.
So then, what happens if you type alert? Does it know about alert?
Yeah, I think you can just do alert.
Yeah, it does
Yeah.
know
Yes,
about alert.
it does.
Alert message,
Yeah.
any.
And you can just like do an open parenthesis
Say grrr.
and a string inside there, double quotes.
Oh yeah. Does it need to be double quotes or can it be single
It can
quotes?
be also be single
Does it matter?
quotes. It does not matter. Yeah, and then semicolon on the end. You probably
Yeah.
know that. Semicolons are not necessary, but people will yell at you if you don't put them in.
Yeah, and for some reason we don't put them at the end of a function declaration unless we're putting the function in a const. Totally.
But it's
doesn't
fine.
matter.
It's not going to hurt anything. So there's our function.
Now we have to call it.
Now we have to make it. Now we need to attach it to something. But
Can
first,
we just call it?
let's just test it out.
Yeah.
So save this. Reload your browser.
All right.
And okay, did you reload that?
She opened it
Oh,
again.
opened it again. Okay. Now, do you know how to get to the console, to the developer console in the browser?
Yeah, she does this sometimes.
I do, but now I don't remember.
I think it's Control-Alt-I.
Right-click anywhere on the page.
Inspect.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's
Oh,
behind her
yeah,
face.
Control-Shift-I.
There it is.
Yeah. Also Control-Shift-I, and then go over to the console tab.
Your face is moving around.
Hold on, let me move our. There we go.
Yep.
There we go.
All right. Let's make sure that our growl function is actually there. So just type right in that console. Type growl open paren close paren.
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
This page says grrr.
Yeah.
That's fabulous.
All right, so the next step is to attach it to that image, and I'll show you the easiest way to do that. So if you flip back to your editor, Do you know about Alt Tab?
Not really.
Try it. Hold down Alt and press Tab.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I'm still getting used to using something that's not a Mac.
Mm-hmm.
Macs do Alt Tab too.
Oh, whoa.
Oh, that's because you're holding down Tab.
Oh.
It's like window roulette.
Our face is back. Okay.
So, the easiest way to attach an event, like attach something to clicking on an element, is to use what's called the onClick attribute.
Okay.
And it's just a regular.
So that would.
So you've got an image.
Yep,
yeah,
yep,
you've got an
yep,
image.
Yep.
And you say on
So
click.
it would be in here, and then I can just start it like that. Okay.
Yeah, on click. Yep,
Oh,
there it is.
Okay.
Yep.
So it'd be on click equals. Okay.
You can stick JavaScript in there.
And
Yeah.
then.
Growl.
Yeah, so saying should I move this over into here, or do I
No.
just call it?
You can just call it.
Yep. Because when you put that script in the HTML file, you are in global space. So when you define that function growl, you are in global space, and that's where it is, and so it's available everywhere.
Everywhere on the
The
page.
growl function, yeah, including in your console.
Okay, got it. So that just says, so on click, when I click the image, that's when it should run that function. Okay, let me make sure that that's, oh, there it is.
What? I didn't.
Oh,
Oh, there
there
it
it
is.
goes.
When I click the image.
Yeah, we're just a
Yay.
little laggy, that's all.
Can we make a slow thylacine? Hey,
Slow thylacine.
yeah. So where you said growl in the on-click event, let's put a set timeout around that. So one of the global functions around here, I think it's just a global, is set timeout. Or we could put it in the growl function.
Yeah, I think it should go in the growl function.
Okay, in the growl function, but before alert. Yeah, before the alert, put set timeout.
Is that all? Oh, there we go.
Yeah, this is laggy.
Yeah. Open paren.
And this one, you give it
First the thing and then the timeout, because it's backwards from what you would expect.
right.
Yep.
So you pass it a function.
Okay, so
Set
this
timeout is a higher order function.
Okay. So I pass it another function, which we'll just say is that for now. Another function.
just make
You
an-
could just
Then
pass it.
Another open set of parentheses. Another for that. Oops, that's
Okay.
not right.
No, that almost. Yeah, you're like,
That's not what it's supposed to look like.
yeah, you're missing a closed paren right before the curly on line 8.
Yeah. Yeah.
Open
So
close
it means
paren.
that, and then
It's laggy.
yeah.
Wait, you need to open close paren after the word function on line 8, Bunny.
There.
Okay, now it's happy.
Open
There.
close parent, and then there's the other parent there. Yeah.
Okay.
Now grab your alert GUR, that whole line, and move it inside there.
Yeah, and now delete line 12 because that's freaking it out.
Yeah, I need that. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Let me speed this up.
And then the last thing that you need to do is tell it how long the timeout should be. And for that, on line 10, in between the curly brace and the closed paren,
Okay.
in between there, put a comma, and then, sorry, I'm lagging, so you're probably typing it, and then I'm like
Yeah,
seeing
it's
it later.
laggy.
And then, so we have to tell it how
A
long to
number.
wait.
A number.
But it's in milliseconds.
Yes.
Oh, weird.
Yes, because computers. So like 1 second is 1,000, and you can sort of figure it out from there.
So put like 3,000 or
So
something.
wait, 1 second is 1,000.
So like 3 seconds
Yeah,
is 3,000.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So save that. Alt tab over to your browser. And yeah, and then Control R to reload.
Did it reload? I think it did.
Probably. We should add a console.log statement just so we know when it reloaded.
Yeah, I was actually
I like
I was
to
looking
do
some
that.
stuff up, and I was gonna introduce her to live reload.
Oh, okay, good idea. Did it GUR slowly?
Okay, yes.
Okay, I can't
Yes,
tell.
It did. It waited 3,000 milliseconds and then it GUR'd.
So now it's a slow thylacine. Set timeout is fun because you could do things like make the thylacine disappear after 30 seconds.
Really want to make the thylacine disappear, don't you?
I think it's funny. No, show her live
Well, we
reload.
can make it. We can make it disappear, but only if it then comes back.
Right.
That's the whole point. We
Yeah.
thought they disappeared,
But
I
they
hope
come
that
back. Yeah. You could even make it, if you mouse over the thylacine, it disappears. And if you take the mouse away, it comes back.
Yeah, you could
That's
do
fun.
that. Do that.
Let's do that.
Okay. So we should be able to do that with like OnMouseOver, is it?
I think so. I'm not really. I've never done much with the.
Well, let's fuck with it.
On mouse over.
Yeah.
I've never done much with other attributes besides onClick.
Now, OnMouseOver.
So
Don't
it's
you, like,
you're gonna
get an
need to
event or
use the
something?
You're gonna have to use the reference to the element.
Yeah, how do you get that? Do we know?
Well, so here's what I was thinking. We should have a function for this because we don't want to write all this inside those quotes. So like you can put arbitrary JavaScript inside the quotes for these onClick and OnMouseOver stuff like that.
But really you just
But
wanna
it's a
call it
huge
function.
pain in the butt to manage like nested quotes. And this is why we generally write a function somewhere else and then just reference the function. Like you don't want to have to.
Yeah.
So like.
Can we make a separate sheet for the JavaScript, like with CSS?
You can. That was another thing that
Oh yeah, we could do that.
that's another thing that we could do next. So if you want to like do that with what we already have, you could create a JavaScript file in here. You can do that inside VS Code actually. It's probably easier
Are
inside
we in the
VS
Git
Code.
repo?
Oh, that's
Can we
right.
make a commit?
That's right.
Can we make a commit? Wait,
I don't
Bunny.
think she's in a repo right now.
Oh, but she could be. She knows Git.
Well, I knew Git like 3 years ago.
Yeah. So
Oh.
can we make a commit real quick?
Sure. You're gonna have to walk me through how to do that. It's been a long time.
It's fine.
When did it-
Oh, I have a faster thing for you. Go back to your editor. Go back to your editor.
We have many tricks for you.
Yes. Now press
Oh, and that's where you
press
search and
Control.
then bring up the terminal.
Press Control.
Yeah.
Control backtick. Do you know where the backtick is on your keyboard? It's probably on the
Yeah.
top left. Control backtick.
What does that do?
Yeah, by the tilde.
Yep.
I'm fighting the urge to push it right
Oh, and it
now.
brings up the terminal.
That is not what I expected. That's interesting. It's
Yeah,
supposed to do
it's
it.
not in the right place.
It's supposed to bring. Oh, you must have Commander set up to respond to that or something. It's probably overriding VS Code.
Maybe. But
Yeah, I
VS
have
Code also
Commander
brings up
set
an
up rather than the actual like terminal because on the video course I'm doing for JavaScript, he has Commander set for it,
Yeah.
so that way it's the
Oh no,
same for all of his
yeah,
series
Commander
and
is
that
great.
one.
It's just that in VS Code, normally when you do that, it actually pops up a console inside VS Code, which is already set to the current directory.
Yeah. tried
But I
that too.
suspect that Commander is eating that key.
Control Shift. No, I have my terminal. My terminal comes up on Control Shift T.
Oh.
But I may have added that keyboard shortcut myself.
Mm-hmm.
What is your computer doing? Why did
Hold
it
on,
make
it's
those
having
red
trouble
flashing things?
finding this because I have a space in the name.
Oh God.
Okay.
Yeah, you can. You can if you type a slash before the space, a backslash. Then you can get the space. But it's easier to hit tab.
Yeah.
So do website tab. Push tab.
Just press tab.
Push tab now. Put the website back. Put the website where now push. There it is.
Okay, so now I'm in here.
Tab says, please guess what I'm about to type and complete it for me. It's very useful when you need to type something hard like a space. What the fuck kind of garbage is that? Why is there one double quote in that? That's some bullshit. Oh well.
Okay,
There's a
so you
reason.
wanna-
It doesn't
you wanna
matter
do a
though.
commit.
Oh yeah, just type get in it.
Type get in it.
Get in it.
Space in it.
Yeah. Thank you. Now get add dot. VS, you could do this within VS Code too, but I don't actually know how to do
right
it.
after the add, or is it?
No, there's a space.
Is it get add space dot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but the dot means current directory. Yeah, good. So now when you do get status, you'll have some green stuff. If your terminal does colors, yeah, it does some colors. Okay, and then do get commit -m.
Space -m.
Oh no, it wants you to, you don't have git. Okay, you need to do this git config thing. Okay, this is just gonna be useful on your whole new computer. This is part of new computer setup. See where it says git config -- global?
Just do exactly what it's telling you to do there.
Except put your email address and name in there. You can cut and paste it if you want.
Okay. Global user dot name, and then user dot email.
Both, whatever.
Actually, hold on. Let me use my other email. That one's already full.
That one's already full.
Well, I mean, like, I already get a ton of good stuff from Satellite of Love to my Gmail account, so I don't want to get more stuff.
You can turn that off.
I don't use my email very often.
I'm sorry, I'm
are you after that?
highly amused by the part where your email's full.
You don't use your email that often. That's you're after that age cutoff.
Oh, right.
I use my email at work
Right.
all the time. I use, like, email at work constantly, but in terms of, like, my personal life, I
Now,
use it to check the shipping status when I
We're
order
old.
Lush.
Opti is jealous
That's
of
about
you
it.
now because you don't use email that often. Okay, do the user.name one too.
I don't. I use it to check shipping statuses when I order stuff online, and sometimes I send stuff to Jessie, and also I get coupons from Culver's, the frozen custard place by our house. They send me coupons, and I get those from my email, and that's about the only thing I use my email for.
That's awesome. Okay, do the user.
Oh, and I use my email when I forget my password.
Oh,
So
right,
I have
that's
to reset
really
my
useful.
password. I use email for that. Okay, so I did the email. Now I need to do my name.
Yep.
User dot name.
Cattywampus.
Okay.
Oh, okay, good. All right, now do the get commit thing again, but do -m.
Space commit. Space. Yep.
-m, yeah, and then
Space quote.
yeah. Quote and say like slow thylacine or something. That's our current status. Great.
And M is just for message. That is the message attached to this. Do you feel better, Jess?
I do feel better. I feel so much better. Thank you. Now we can refactor.
Yes.
I'm big on. I mean, git commit saves your work. And it doesn't save just one state of your work. It saves this working place so that you can always come back to this place that works after we break it.
And code spends most of its time broken, so it's useful.
Yeah, so I like compulsively make a git commit whenever things are not broken and they did something useful.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel better now.
So, do you want to move?
Yeah,
the
move
code
JavaScript.
that we have out into a JavaScript file?
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so I have it right here. Here's the JavaScript file.
So grab.
So I guess what I take this entire function,
Cut it out.
take it out of here. Okay.
Drop it
And
into your
then I can
JavaScript
move
file.
back. Okay, and then how do
Save it.
I tell it then when to attach?
Well,
Huh?
go back to your HTML file, and there's actually a clue on line 14. See?
Oh, the source
So
equals.
here it's the image tag that's referencing.
It's
it.
referencing an
Right.
image, and how does it reference the image? How does it reference the image?
Because it's in the inline.
What attribute does it
for
use?
the image tag.
What attribute does it use to reference?
Click?
No, that's not the image. That's the function. But how does it reference the image? How does it bring in that image file?
With the source?
Yeah. Do you think you could use that with for a script too?
See, I want to use href like the style sheet, but you know.
I don't know.
Go back to your HTML.
Okay.
So you've got a script tag, and we no longer want to use what's inside the script tag. We want to reference an external file. And we have an example on line 14 of how we reference external files instead of having them inline. And it's to use the source attribute.
Okay.
So if you go up to your script tag, no, not there. Go up to your script tag. And it's,
and I could do
yeah.
equals thylacine.js.
Yes, and then we're going to make that into, see how so the image tag, it's a self-closing tag. It doesn't need a closing tag since it doesn't have anything in between. So get rid of it's the same deal with the script tag now. Since we don't want any JavaScript in between open and close now, we'll get rid of what's on line 8, and we'll just make it self-closing.
Oh boy, it doesn't like that.
Well, what you do
put
is
a slash at the end.
At the end of the script tag, right before the closing angle bracket, put a slash.
That
now
says, we're done here.
Now it's a self-closing tag.
Why is it red?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it might be. You know what? Actually, that might be one of those quirks where actually it always has to have a closing
tag.
tag.
To have slash script. Right
Yeah,
there.
that might be an odd quirk.
I mean, it still works, but there's a
might
lot
have-
of
it might
things on the
have it.
interweb that still work but aren't.
Yeah. All right. Ignore me.
canon.
It seems happiest with the closing tag.
Then let's do it that way. Yeah, so that's like there's like this common theme in HTML where when you want to reference an external file instead of something local in this file, you use the source
What if we
attribute.
had a podcast that was like the Car Guys, but for code?
I never
Are you
actually
old enough
listened.
to listen to the Car?
I'm
He's
old
younger
enough.
than me.
I'm old enough, but I didn't.
I'm familiar with the Car Guys.
Graham already loved the Car Guys. They were amazing.
My idea for a podcast is it would be called Deep Space Wine, and I would drink wine and recap episodes of Deep Space Nine.
That's a really good idea for a podcast. I can get behind that.
I thought so. And really, it would actually be me and Margaret. So, like,
Oh, yeah,
I'm
totally.
a huge Star Trek nerd, and Margaret is like she knows a little bit about Star Trek, but doesn't know that much about it. So that would be like the contrast in the podcast.
Oh,
is,
yeah.
Like, one person helping do the recap is like a Star Trek expert, and then the other person is like a Star Trek newbie, and we're drinking wine, and it's called Deep Space Wine. That's
Good
my
idea,
pitch. If
Wendy.
anybody would like to sponsor that, please let me know.
It usually goes the other way around, but
That'd be fantastic.
Oh yeah, now you make a podcast and then get
They just have to
sponsors.
pay me-
Because making a podcast is mostly free,
oh yeah.
I guess. Anyway,
Yeah, so let's give this a whirl. Let's
Well,
reload
I'm saying, yeah. If anybody
Sorry,
wants
I
to,
totally derailed
pay me
this.
Enough to quit my job.
derailed this. Oh, okay. So you have Deep Space Time.
I had to. Yeah, Deep Space Wine.
Okay, so reload it.
Okay. So
I
And then
really
make
want to
sure
add a
this still works.
console.log to be like, okay, I reloaded.
Grr!
Grr. A nice slow grr.
still works.
Still works, and now you have it in an external file. And this is good because managing JavaScript inside your HTML file gets unwieldy fast.
Yeah. Okay, so now you have brought in
Yeah.
some JavaScript and you've brought in some CSS. But what do we do when we want to reference an element? When we want to change something that's on the page instead of doing a global thing like this page says?
Create a function that you can call. So, yeah, that's what I'm wondering is like, do you set up that? Can you set up things in here the way that you set it up in here?
Oh, that's a good question.
Or is it always like you just create stuff in here and then you call it when needed?
Yeah, you have to.
What if we wanted to have something run?
Are we talking about attaching without using onClick?
I'm just talking. I'm
Well,
just
she
thinking
had
out
a
loud. I don't
really,
know what
really
to say.
interesting question. like, I think this is an interesting idea. She pointed out that here you say H1, all the colors are purple. Could we say image, all your on click is grow?
Absolutely.
How do we say that?
And would you set it up the same way? Would you set
Now,
it up like
I'm used to doing it in jQuery,
class?
but we should do it in pure JavaScript first.
Yeah,
I need to refresh my
Bunny,
memory a little bit. But
we're going to start with like the geology of this, because nobody does it this way anymore because there's like frameworks and shit.
actually, we're coming back to it. We're coming back around because JavaScript has incorporated so much stuff from
That's true.
the frameworks and stuff that you can do.
The language has grown a lot.
There's some there are arguments. Yeah, there are arguments now that like you really don't need the frameworks for a lot of the simple stuff anymore.
Because JavaScript doesn't suck anymore.
Exactly.
It's really quite good.
Yeah.
So we have this global get element by ID thing?
Yeah, well, there's get element by a few different things, and we're gonna start with, let's see. So you want to do it with like the way you did it in the CSS. So I think
that's a really good question,
get
Bunny.
element by.
Thank you. Yeah, because I know that in CSS you can set it up a couple different ways. You can create it by the name of the element. So like, for example, here, this means any H1 tag is going to have the attribute color purple.
Yeah.
You can also set it up as like a class. You can do it like this.
Totally.
And then if I wanted to, I could take that purple and I could attach it to any particular thing. So like if I wanted this to then have the class of purple, I could say I wanted to have the class of purple. And then when I reran it, it would
be purple.
have this be purple
Yeah.
as well.
So let's do some messing around.
I didn't know if it was like the same.
Let's play with some stuff.
Same for that. Okay.
Go to the browser, and in your console, we're going to play with some built-in JavaScript functions. The first one is get elements by tag name, and it will probably complete for you. Why won't this move?
Why isn't it doing that?
There we go. Should be get elements. Oh,
that's under element dot.
Document. Try document dot.
Yeah, try document.
Document dot get elements by tag name.
By ID?
Let's start with tag name.
Oh, by tag name.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the simplest.
All right, and then open paren and then quote.
So pass it the string.
And let's try the H1. Let's try grabbing the title. All right. Press enter.
Yep, HTML collection, H1.
Press enter.
I love how it previews your return value, isn't it?
Yeah, now you've got, that's has shown you the object that comes back from that JavaScript call, and you can actually click that little arrow next to it to sort of fold it out and see various information about and that what it found. So that's a collection. It returned not a single thing, but it returned an array there, and you can see if you fold out again where it says 0.
Okay, so the 0th element.
So that's the first.
Whoa.
That's a lot, isn't it?
Stuff. Yeah.
And down there, if you scroll down a bit, you'll probably find text. Or, inner text. That's the one, inner text.
There it is.
Can you fuck with it here?
Oh, inner text.
Where'd it go?
There's inner text.
Yep.
Yep, because that's the text that's in my H1 tag.
Yeah. So, like, press the up arrow.
Do we have this in a variable?
Not yet. We'll get there. Go down to the end and press the up arrow.
Like back to your prompt.
Yeah, all the way down to the end.
An up arrow is for Pete, remember?
All right, now press home so you go to the beginning of that line, or just arrows to the beginning of that line. We want to assign this. Down again. There you go,
yeah.
yes.
Now, modify this command so that it stores the output in a variable.
Okay. So,
you don't actually need the let here.
You do need to say let or var or const.
Not at the console.
Really? It gets mad at me sometimes.
Really?
Oh, well,
That's
I'm
fine.
gonna
Let
do it
will work.
anyways, 'cause it makes me feel
And it's good
uncomfortable to not do
practice.
it.
Good job. Good job. Kind of like me with my git commit.
Okay,
Okay.
All right, press
Push
enter.
enter. Yeah.
and then enter.
Yep.
Oh, wait,
That's
something
correct.
went. Oh, right.
The
I always-
assignment didn't return
yeah, okay.
anything.
So
Yeah.
if you type cryptid now and press enter,
Then it will show you it again. Yeah.
Then it should give HTML collection
Right.
each one. Okay.
So cryptid 0,
cryptid.
like
So if you-
access
yeah.
the first element of that array. What's the word that means?
What I say, and by the way, I will say something like sub-0 and sub-1. If you hear me say cryptid sub-0, what that means is it's short for subscript 0, and that's the notation that you have in front of you right now is subscript 0. So that's just sort of a short, verbal shorthand for that is cryptid sub-0. And go ahead and press enter. Let's make sure that we have what we think we have.
There's that H1. Oh,
Yeah.
how cute. It displayed it.
Yeah. So now now do up arrow, and then
Now we can
tag
copy
onto the end inner text.
Yeah, hit enter and make sure we get the, well, we see that we're going to get the thing. But now hit up arrow and say equals, do an assignment to this variable. Yeah, assign it a new string.
Open quote. Oh, no,
you
not
were
at
right.
the beginning. No.
No.
Oh.
We're assigning it to the inner text.
Oh, okay. I got
Yep,
it. I got it.
yep.
So,
Good choice, yes. Dun, 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 dun.
okay.
Your page is different now.
So you've learned two things now. You've learned how to locate elements in JavaScript by their tag name, by the type of tag, and you've also seen how to modify their attributes. So there are a couple other ways of finding elements on the page. You've seen how to do it with the tag name, but you were talking about like the purple class earlier. So how would we find an element by its class rather than its name? You can probably guess the JavaScript function for this. Remember, start with document dot.
Document is the top level HTML element.
Is it
Get
document dot inner class? Oh no, get.
get element.
Get element by class.
There you go.
Okay.
By class name.
Mhm.
Yes. Why did they call those classes?
Yeah. So you already have an element with a class on it, don't you?
At the moment,
think so.
yeah.
Yeah,
You have that purple. The H2 has
has
a
it.
purple class. Has a class name
Oh
of
that-
yeah,
purple.
that's right. The H2 does.
So how do you think you would locate that by its class name?
Would you put it in here?
Yes, you would call the function with an argument
And
of the
pass it
string
in the name
purple.
of what you're looking for.
Oh, I
this
see what
is
you're doing. Okay.
deliberately. This
All
is
right.
deliberate. Yeah, I'm pedagogically choosing to start at the high level name of what I want her to do,
Mm-hmm.
and then gradually get more fine-grained.
I just wanted to make sure that she got it without too much help.
Oh, she was getting it.
Yes.
I was telling her
No,
the
I
name
had-
of
yeah,
what
I
she
had-
was doing.
It was just the lag. I had already typed out the correct answer.
Right. And you were giving names. You were giving words to it.
Yes.
Yes. Excellent. Sorry. You probably couldn't see me nudging. I was like, let her do it. Let her do it.
Tells us that yes,
doing it. She already had it.
H2 tag has a class of purple.
Yeah, so what you have another collection there. It's another case of like if you wanted the specific a specific
It's a collection of
thing
the
in there,
single
you'd have to do
element
sub-0.
H2. Yeah.
Like I did before. Cool. Okay. Let's put some more stuff in here.
Can we push this? Oh.
Oh, no, we can do that. Well, we can't push anything because what we've been changing is just in the browser, right? That's not going to change our
That's
HTML
correct.
document.
That's correct.
Yes.
No, I wanted to push an X. It's fine.
But now
I wanted to push this X over here. this X. Do you see where I drew an X?
Can she?
Oh,
I really want to push that X. Ah, thank you.
there you go.
Okay, I'm happy now.
So I want to show you, before we go back to the editor, there's one really important thing that I want to show you. It's another modification that we can make to the page, and it's called Add Event Listener.
Can you add it to the H2? Does that work?
Oh, look, there it is.
Yeah. Yeah, we can add it to the H2. So we've got an H2 on the page, right?
Or we could add it to cryptid 0, either one.
Or we could add it to the image.
Yeah, or we could get the image.
Let's do one of these. Let's do one of the headers.
Why is it a top level function?
We're not going to use it as a top level function.
Does it add it to the page?
We're going to use it. Yeah, it's there are a few different ways to use it. We're going to do it on a specific element, though. I think that's.
I want to know what happens if you do it at the top level.
Okay.
Can we try it? Okay. Okay. This function takes 2 arguments. The first one is the name of an event as a string. So pass it click as a string. The string click. Good. And then it takes a listener, which means a function. So let's do an arrow function. So just you. Okay. All right. You can type function if you want.
Oh, okay.
Function, and then the parents, and then the curlies. Oh,
No.
if you use the word function or the arrow, not both. If you use the arrow, you don't use the word function. You can just do open, close parent, arrow.
Okay, well, that's
And then the body of the
if it only has
function.
one argument, you don't even.
Right, and then even the curlies are
close
optional,
parents if it just has one. Okay.
sort of.
Yeah.
So this has no arguments, which is fine. Inside the curlies, put console.log.
Okay.
You clicked me, or ow, or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Without attaching that to anything, I'm not sure what that's going to attach to. We'll find out.
So just hit enter and see what that does. Well, you need another close parent or something. Oh, your console.log. You need just hit up.
Up arrow.
There you go.
I see.
Now
I
you can
thought
change
that I
it.
had hit one here, but I didn't.
Good.
Okay.
Okay, now go click the page somewhere. Ha!
Oh, look at that. Okay.
So it probably added it to the, presumably,
Just like
the whole page.
global document or something.
Yeah.
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 But what we want to do is we want to attach something. We want to attach a listener to a specific element. So like maybe
Hey, click on the thylacine. I want to know if it both GERS and you clicked me's.
should. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because
It says you clicked me, and there it is.
yep.
Yeah.
The you clicked me got a 2 next to it, which means it was outputted again.
Yeah.
This.
Yeah.
totally confused me for a while.
Oh yeah.
I was like, it's not doing it, but it is. It's just that the second, yeah.
So that attached the listener to the whole page. So one thing that's relevant here is that you can use those on-click attributes and on-MouseOver attributes and stuff like that. Nobody does anymore. That's sort of like the really, really archaic way of attaching events.
Do you not get the? Is that because you don't get the event?
It's more because you just clutter up your HTML. It's like very hard coded, and you know. So I like what you were asking about, which is like how do we do it in the same way we do it in the CSS? And where the CSS, it's like you say in the CSS what elements on the page to apply the CSS to, and you can do the same. That's the way we normally do with JavaScript too. We say in the JavaScript we say which elements on the page to apply it to. So let's close the last bit of that loop in our live browser, and then we'll go over to the editor. And that is we need to let's grab an element by its tag name. Let's grab the H2. So document.getElement by tag name.
That's right. Document.getElement by tag name, and pass it. Okay, which tag are we going for?
Let's go for the H2. That's the yes queen is an H2, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and let's go ahead and subscript that to get the first one. So
Yeah.
sub-0
Outside.
outside the parens.
Oh no,
Oh.
yeah. The tag name is h2, but the return value of the getElementsByTagName is a collection. Oh, and now it's telling you you've got h2.purple.
All right, so we've got, let's just go ahead and hit enter and make sure we have the right thing. Yep, yes, Queen, we're here. So that's the right.
Yep.
All right, so let's do up arrow again. And then type dot.
Call the add event listener method.
Yeah, and now we can do add event listener here.
Yep.
Okay.
And we'll first give it the
add event listener and then
the name of the event
and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to do click or OnMouseOver?
Oh, we could do it on OnMouseOver. I don't know what the specific. I know click.
Okay. Now, when you pass a function in here, this listener can accept a parameter called event. So give it a function with a parameter called event. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And then you, inside those curlies, inside your function, you can call event dot, and it's going to have, what's in there, target?
Here we go.
Now we're consulting. Type a T and see if it gives you anything. Does it know? No, we're not in TypeScript.
Event dot, here we go, event interface.
The event interface.
Yeah, I think you're right about target.
Tick, tick,
Yes,
tick,
my internet
tick,
is slow.
Tick, tick, tick. Okay.
Yeah, target is a thing.
Okay, event.target is going to be whatever the heck element this event is about. So it's going to be the H2. So this gives you access, this listener function, because it takes this event, can give you the element that was, in this case, clicked. So target dot, what do we want to do to it? Can we set visible false or something? Is that a thing?
Let's set the intertext to something else.
Okay, target.intertext equals, yeah, you set this by assigning. Nice, nice job. No, we are gone.
And I would give it a
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
okay.
Now we probably have to close some.
Yeah. You need a close parent at the very end or something.
Yeah,
So
we do need
finish.
at least one more
Yes.
paren there.
There
yeah.
you go. Now it should be happy.
All right, enter.
Okay.
Okay.
Click on yes, queen.
Oh, there we go.
Now we are gone.
I did. It changed.
Yeah.
And you clicked me.
And you clicked me. Oh, and that actually the fact that it said also did you clicked me, that shows you that you can have multiple event listeners responding to a
levels.
single click event.
Yeah.
And that event object that we're messing around with, that represents the fact that you clicked.
Yeah, it's a click event.
So that's that's all the pieces. That's that's finding elements by their tags. It's adding event listeners, and that is how you can set up. You can attach stuff to the page without actually being on the page. You can attach stuff to the page from the JavaScript.
Yeah, it's not like it's not built into the language the way it is in CSS. CSS, all you do is attach stuff to stuff by ID or tag or class. In JavaScript, you do a lot of other things, but with this get elements by tag name, class name, ID, etc., you can have the same effect. So, see if you can figure out, what did we want to do? Oh,
So now you can go back to your JavaScript file.
Click it. I want you. Click my VS Code. Okay. More faces. Okay.
Not the, so yeah, go over to the JavaScript. And now, so down under where you define your functions, you can set up your handlers. So you can do stuff like document dot.
Yeah, this is running in the global space, so document is available here when it's running in the browser.
Exactly, yeah. And then you can do your get element by class or by tag name. Thank goodness for autocomplete.
Yeah.
So that's my only.
Mm-hmm.
That's my only class that I have set up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to do the image, you could put a class on it, or you could get it by tag name, or really, it's because there's only one thylacine, and we're specifically talking about this thylacine image. I would use ID.
Yeah, but is there an ID there yet?
No, but we could put one.
We could put one there. Yep. So if we get something for ID, we have to do get element singular rather than get elements.
Yeah, that's expressive.
Get element by ID.
That makes sense.
Yay. And then you can give your your thylacine.
ID.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll be better. That's so nice and specific.
And this one, George.
Good name. I like that name of a thylacine.
It's a good, it fits. Seems like a George.
Okay, so that's how we get it.
Yeah.
And then what do we want to do with it now, this image?
Did you want to add an event listener?
Yeah, let's do an add event listener. Let's replace our original, let's get rid of the on click in the HTML and then
put
replace it
instead.
with here.
Okay. So that takes that out. So now we say we want to call the function on the ID
So yeah,
that is named George.
so we want to add an event listener.
So, okay, so how do I chain that again on here? Do I do another
Yep.
dot?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you didn't have to sub this one because it's not a collection. There's just one George.
And then do I pass it and then I pass it the function call?
Well, first
yeah,
you've got
you can just pass it.
its argument?
You can just,
First, you've got to give it the
click.
name of the event, because there are lots of different events that you can respond to.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay. So we give it the name of the event, which is click,
Yeah.
and then we pass it. The next thing to do is this, where then we pass in the function call.
Mhm.
Yeah, but you can just use the name of the function. You can
Yeah,
just say growl.
that's it. All you have
Yeah.
to type,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can pass functions by name like that.
and then semicolon.
Add event listener is a higher order function.
Okay. And then we can run that again.
Control R. Done.
Okay, so it went back to
Done.
the original HTML.
Done. Why didn't it catch George?
Uh-oh, we've got an uncaught type error. Cannot read property add event listener of null. Ah,
Didn't
this is
find
important.
George.
This is important.
We should.
Because what happens is, so look at your HTML. We load the script on line 6.
Oh, wow.
It actually loads that script at line 6. And at the point where it's on line 6, it has not loaded the rest of this HTML yet. None of those elements exist yet.
Oh, okay, because it hasn't accessed ID equals George.
Yeah, it
Because-
hasn't even read
So
that
should
yet.
the JavaScript reference go at the end of the document?
That's one way to do it. We can do it at the end of the document, but there's also another way to do it. And I'm just looking for the proper way to do it in raw JavaScript. Because what we want to do is there's a way in the JavaScript to defer part of the JavaScript to only happening after the document is loaded.
While you're looking that up, let's handle this error at multiple levels. Bunny, so let's do a null check on George before we add event listeners to him.
Okay.
So in your JavaScript, when you get George by ID,
Oh, over here?
yeah, when you put George in a variable before you call add event listener.
Okay, so should I do that on a separate line, or can I do that still within here?
You'll wind up with more lines.
Oh, I see what you mean. So take this out for right now and assign this to a variable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let
George. Yep.
okay.
Okay. And then you can call the add event listener method on George farther. Yes. And now you can put that line 8 in an if statement and only do that if George var is truthy, is not undefined, or null. I guess it was null, whatever. So say if, no, you want that in the body of the if block.
Oh.
You want that in the body of the if statement, not the condition.
Ew, okay. So
Yeah,
I'll
if
take out
something that we
these
haven't written yet,
errands here.
then, right, George var dot add event listener. Good. Good. And so now you can say, to check whether George var is defined, the colloquialism is to say bang bang George var. Yep. That checks whether George var is truthy. So null and undefined will fail that check. Stick an else on there, and then in the else you can console.log. I couldn't find George anywhere. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, now try that again in your page. And this time, instead of a type error, we should get where's George, which is a much more useful. And yes. Okay, so that's better. Good. I really like to do error handling like this. When I find a bug, I want to fix it at multiple levels. First, I want to make it easier to diagnose and put these safety checks around it, and then actually fix it.
This is a very good practice, and way too many, and not enough programmers do it.
Takes longer.
Yep.
But it gives you safety at multiple levels.
Yeah.
So how do we fix it?
How do we fix it?
So we need it to load the entire document before it accesses thylacine.js.
Yeah, and specifically, we need to only do this once the entire DOM is loaded. That's the document object model. We don't actually have to wait until like every image file and stuff like that is loaded, but we need to wait until the DOM is loaded. And
so it's like read all these tags and set them up.
Right, all these tags.
Even if it hasn't like loaded the stuff inside them yet.
Right.
Okay.
And helpfully, browsers have a lot of different events. Click is one event that we've been messing with, but there are lots of events. And one of the events that occurs is there's an event for the DOM is loaded. And so what we do is we need to do our attaching of events after the DOM is loaded. So if we go back to the JS file.
So now we're gonna add an event listener to the document.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We're gonna go down to the end. We'll start down at the end of the file, and we're gonna do document dot add event listener. So this is an event that occurs to the whole document.
Oops. Okay.
And the event's name is kind of weird. The event's name is do your parens and your quote. And then the event's name is DOM content loaded. So capital DOM, capital C.
Yeah, it's camel case.
Okay.
It's camel case, and DOM is an acronym.
Content loaded.
Yeah. And then the second argument is a function.
Yeah.
You can use an arrow. It receives an event, but we don't actually care about the event object, so we can leave it out. And go ahead and open up some space, like press enter in there so that we have some space to add stuff. There we go. And now we can just move everything from line 7 to 12 inside that event handler. Not the whole thing.
You can leave growl at the top, leave it in global space.
Yeah.
Growl is hanging out in global space because it's going to be triggered by the click. I guess since we pass it here, we could move it down.
We could, but there's no reason to.
Yeah, we like growl being in global space because then we can call it from the console.
Yeah. So then, just 7 to 12, grab all that and move it into...
Yep.
Yeah. So this ensures that none of our add event listener stuff will be done until the page is done loading, or at least the DOM is done loading.
Yeah, enough of the page. Yeah, so now try it again.
Okay.
Now what did we make it do? We added a click event.
Sloger.
There it is,
Sloger.
the sloger. doesn't make any sense.
It's a slow thylacine. It's sleepy.
It is.
George is sleepy.
It's been hibernating for 100
Yeah.
years. Okay, so let's recap. Go look at your code again. We started by adding some JavaScript. First we added it in the HTML, and then we moved it over into its own JavaScript file, and we referenced that from the HTML. And then we started out by using the onClick attribute, which is kind of old style, on an image, and we switched to gathering the image from the image element from the document and adding an event listener with our function in it. And then we discovered that there's order of execution trickiness to that, and that we can't go digging around and adding event listeners to elements until those elements have been loaded into the browser's DOM thought process. And so we specified that the adding of the event listener should happen after the DOM has loaded its stuff. So that's a bunch of...
We can take this stuff, we can take this debugging stuff out now.
I wouldn't. I'd leave it there.
If we want. Oh, okay.
If at some point, if we like change the element in the HTML, or we took George out and replaced him with Harry, that would be a useful error message to get. So you leave those. I know it does make your code messier, but it makes your code better. Yeah, so that's pretty good. We did some stuff.
That's a lot for...
There's a concept here of, in JavaScript, it's one thing to define what you want to happen. In our case, what we wanted to happen was the growl, the grr alert. And separately, outside of that, you decide when you want it to happen. So we growl when George is clicked. But we tell George about that. We give him that growl instruction after the content is loaded. So all of this is not just what are we going to do, but when are we going to do it? And just to be tweaky, we also said that the when on grr, even after the click, is 3 seconds. So we have like 3 different tell it when things going on in here. And the interesting one on the document.addEventListener to DOM content loaded event is we're saying when to tell George when to growl.
Yeah, there's a lot of deferring going on.
So yeah, it gets a little inside out.
Yeah.
It's not nearly as procedural as like the JavaScript problems that you're working through are very top to bottom.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and you're dealing with the fact that in HTML, as far as the browser is concerned anyway, lots of stuff is going on at once. I mean, it's loading a document, and then once the document is loaded, there's a whole lot of stuff on the page, and multiple things could be happening. And so you kind of have to work in that world where many things occur. And that's, yeah, so we have this sort of indirection of events to what to do on those events. This is also why, one of the reasons we moved away from onClick, like attributes, is the onClick attribute kind of implies that there's just one thing to do when somebody clicks on a piece of the page. And that's not remotely true on pages anymore.
And decisions can be made later, like event listeners can be added later,
yeah,
which is confusing as heck, but sometimes useful.
Is there anything on here that's still fuzzy? Like, I don't understand why this is the way it is.
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's something that I would have to practice a lot before I was able to just from memory be like, oh yeah, this is how you do this. But I understand how it works. Like what you're passing in, you call this function on the document, you pass it in. the name of the thing that you're trying to do, and then you pass it.
Specifically, what you're waiting for.
No, we passed in the name of when.
Yeah.
The event name is a name of when. Yeah, we did not give a name to the function of what we're trying to do in this case. We did with Growl.
Yeah, yeah.
And a pattern that you'll often see in JavaScript for browsers is this block at the end, this from line 9 to 16. You'll have that block at the end of the file, and it'll just set all of the event listeners up inside that on content loaded block.
Just like this.
Now you'll see, if you look at other people's code, you might see slightly different versions of this because there are some helper frameworks out there, some helper libraries that sort of shrink down how much you have to type for that section, but you don't have to worry about that right now.
Cool. Oh, and we practiced exploring what you can do in the browser console.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Browser always start in the console. Like. Yeah. I never like to spend a long time writing code in the editor if I haven't actually just, tried it out recently.
Already seen it work. Yeah. Cool. Good job.
Cool.
Learned a bunch.
Guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's nice to pop into one of these again.
Yay.
Yay.